there's a lot of components to bankruptcy, right? Like you can talk about it from a debtor's side, where somebody comes in and they just don't have enough money, they need to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, right? I think that's what people most traditionally think of when they think of a bankruptcy is look, I'm broke, I need to file. And 98% of bankruptcy matters are going to be a traditional debtor side, what we call a no asset bankruptcy. In, out, under $2,000, done, very simple, you're in the box, right? Where things get a little more complicated is when you start thinking about people that are bankruptcy adjacent. And I would say a good, healthy percentage of my practice focuses on these bankruptcy adjacent matters. So that can be anything from foreclosure on a commercial property, collections matter for somebody that is close to being insolvent but not quite, or there's a question as to whether or not the debtor is insolvent. So like if you're representing a creditor, we'll be representing a creditor, and there's a question as to whether the company or the individual has the means to pay off the debt that is owed. So that's another area where we'll add a tremendous amount of value. And then the other area that you see a lot of is what we would call fraudulent transfers or breaches of fiduciary duties. Like these are areas that are considered to be non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. So like the broad spectrum of that would be what we call intentional torts. Like if I walk up and I punch you in the face, right, the damages that are associated with that are not going to be dischargeable in the bankruptcy, right? It's an intentional act that's not dischargeable in the bankruptcy. Not that I would do that, but derivatives of that are kind of this idea of fraud, right? And fraud can take a number of different facets, right? It can be a lie that leads to damages. It can be the theft of certain monies from somebody. And similarly, fiduciary duty can take a number of different facets. So, and then the other area of fraud that you think about is if on the eve of becoming insolvent, let's say you have a company, right? The company's got $1 million in the bank. They take that money and they move it over to company B, and then they claim that this company is insolvent. So that's considered a fraudulent transfer. So those are the types of areas where we're skip tracing funds. We're trying to figure out what's good and what's bad about something. Those are the types of areas where we can really add value.